Well, before departing for Israel and the West Bank, Donald Trump gave his first overseas speech as U.S. president in Saudi Arabia. Trump called on Arab and Muslim leaders to take the lead in combating Islamist militants, urging to drive them out of this earth. A new global center for combating extremism ideology was launched to monitor extremist activity. Here's CGTN's Adel Mahrouky with more.
Leaders of the Muslim world were looking for a moderate stance from Donald Trump on Islam. He did not fail them. The U.S. president called Islam a religion of peace and held extremist ideologies fully responsible for terrorism.
This is not a battle between different faiths, different sects, or different civilizations. This is a battle between barbaric criminals who seek to obliterate human life and decent people, all in the name of religion. People that want to protect life and want to protect their religion. This is a battle between good and evil.
Trump called on Muslim nations to take leading roles and effective steps fighting the global threat of terrorism. The U.S. and Gulf countries signed an agreement to work jointly to disrupt the flow of money funding extremist groups. Trump called for more countries to join. From its side, Saudi Arabia announced it will lead an international effort to combat radical ideologies.
Terrorism is a result of extremism. In light of the need to confront terrorism, we declare today launching the Global Center for Combating Extremist Ideology, which aims to disseminate the principles of moderation and tolerance, confront attempts to deceive the young, shield families and societies, and refute the frail claims of terrorists.
Arabs pointed out that the most effective way to end the threat of terrorism would be to end the Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
This is the core issue for our region, and it has driven radicalism and instability beyond our region and into the Muslim world. The international community has a direct interest in a just peace.
Trump came here to Saudi Arabia hoping to strengthen ties with Muslim countries. Several of the leaders who've attended the summit told him he has their full support.
I admire the vision of President Trump, who since he took office has taken strict policies to deal with terrorist challenges. I have no doubts that the United States is capable of helping in the global transformation needed to execute a comprehensive strategy against all aspects of terrorism.
Blocking financial sources of terrorist groups and spreading moderate Islamic ideologies to fight radical thoughts, both are tactics many countries have already attempted. The summit may have voiced an Islamic American will to fight terrorism, but without a platform to unite the efforts of all countries, their success is no guarantee. Adel, Mahrouky, CGTN, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Let's get more on the expected effects of the Anti-Terrorism Center unveiled in Riyadh by the three leaders. And we can cross over to Cairo and to CGTN's Yasser Hakim. Yasser, to take us through the main highlights of the summit held in the Saudi capital, Riyadh.
Well, obviously, terrorism was the main highlight of this summit. It showed that it has brought countries together in one target, and that is to fight off terrorism. We've seen countries that are on odds in many issues and are conflict in many issues, but they have met in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. They sat together. They sat with the United States, which maybe also had distanced itself quite a while from many of those countries during the Obama administration, and now we see a closer ties with the U.S. From Arab and Muslim countries from around the world. So this issue of global terrorism has brought these Islamic, Arab and U.S. Forces together. One of the main issues obviously is to begin to work on a force of, they said, around 34,000 soldiers. That will be an Arab Islamic force to be ready to interfere against militant groups and Islamist groups, extremist groups in the region when needed in many countries. Also, the fight, as many of these countries talked about Iran and the threat of Iran's interference in some Muslim countries and the Gulf areas and trying to escalate terrorist thought also has been the highlight mentioned by the US, mentioned by Saudi Arabia on several occasions. And like you said, the Anti-Terrorism Center that was inaugurated during the summit, that was also another major highlight of the meetings in Riyadh. But obviously it has shown that the world, or at least this part of the world, is ready to take action and unite for a change with one target, and that is to fight off the surge of terrorism in the region.
Well, yes, terrorism is the main highlight there, but have they given details on how the Anti-Terrorism Center itself will operate?
Yes, it's obviously a multi-billion-dollar center with hundreds of workers, and its main aim is to fight off terrorism or terrorism thought. So we know that there is the security aspect of fighting terrorists, but also fighting extremist thinking. That's as important as fighting the terrorist groups by military means. Now, this center, the employees there or the workers there will be working on several branches. You've got the social media, you've got the TV media, the media as TV, papers and radio, and you also have the universities and scholars and students and youth. What has happened is that monitoring TV channels, radio stations, social media and websites from around the world. And after monitoring, they come with every day or maybe every hour with the results of these, the content of these media outlets, and they would analyze the extremist thought that had come out of it, and will either have two channels to either report that these sites are sort of spreading extremism, and at the same time they would bring in and spread around the moderate Islamic thinking throughout the social media, throughout the TVs and radios. So at one point it is countering the extremist thought by putting in or inputting moderate thinking and spreading the ideas of moderate Islam, and at the same time reporting about any media outlets or social media that is actually spreading the extremist thought, so that illegal action would be taken against it. So this 24-hour anti-terrorism center will be vital, because it has been one of the demands of many leaders in the region, including the Egyptian president, who have called for this center to be put in place to fight extremist thought around the world, and to also be working with Islamic institutions such as Al-Azhar to spread moderate Islamic thought.
All right, Yasser Hakim for us there in Cairo with that update. Thank you.